Hello. It's Fullforce Radio. My name is 𝖍𝖊𝖆, and some people are still here, but that's because they were hanging out, of course, with vaccines cause avian flu. It's obviously it's been a post-up night, sharing some posts, talking about cool stuff, and it's a cool time. It's a cool time. So, hey, friends. Welcome. It is Fullforce Radio, and I'm just trying to get myself settled for the night. I am feeling a little festive after last week. So for those of you who can see, and maybe those of you who can't, I am rocking a new four-sided death metal long sleeve shirt because the people in my life know what to get me for Christmas, and that is metal attire. So I'm rocking a green death metal shirt and a red skull-colored headband. There you are. That is basically, hey, Mariano, that is basically as Christmassy as we're going to get after Christmas. I hope you're doing very, very well. I hope things have been wonderful for you wherever you is and whatever it is that's going on for you. Because, of course, last week we did the not very Christmas but pretty Christmas special. And this week we're in that weird period in between like Christmas and New Year's. It's holiday. We're eating a lot of cheese. You know, it's a confusing time. Nobody knows what day it is. And so I was thinking about what I wanted to do for a playlist tonight. And I have a lot of ideas. So I thought, I'll slowly put on a face over the course of the night so I can look real cute, lure some more of you in here. And if it is, yes, exactly, happy liminal week. There's no rules anymore. I mean, we barely exist in like a functional space. But yes, so that's just it. I do actually have a really cool playlist planned tonight. There's some new tracks on the menu because of course we do love new metal here. But I actually do kind of have a theme. And so for some of you, you are kind of the woo-woo type, and that's fantastic. I love having you here. One of the things that I realized last week while the show was on, we were doing the Christmas show. And if you didn't get a chance to see it, I am going to drop in chat. I'm going to drop the link to the companion post because honestly, the show was amazing. The playlist was so good. And if you're not a Christmassy person, that's okay. Don't even worry about it. It ain't no problem, ain't no thing. And so, oh dear. I apparently also managed to toggle on YouTube and Facebook. That's bad. We're gonna toggle those back off again because that's not what I meant to do. So nobody saw that. If you saw that, you didn't see that. So with all that being said, babies. If all that being said, I do actually have a playlist tonight, and it relates back to last week in that had to do a Christmas special without Christmas music, but it was also a new moon, and that's one of those things that's really cool. I don't know if you've ever seen a new moon. It basically means that you don't see the moon in the sky at all. It's almost completely black, and I've been thinking about it because I always love the idea of our relationship with the heavens. I know many of us are kind of this stargazy type, and also sort of the idea that we are these tiny little particles floating about in a big old universe, which is real good too, right? And so I originally thought, I'm going to do moon metal. That's what I'm going to do. And then I realized, no, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do moon metal. In fact, I'm going to take a look at what the moon is looking like going into this new year. And one of the most wonderful things about being an Orthodox Eastern Bloc member is that you actually do celebrate Christmas. Hey, Blue, you celebrate Christmas and the New Year too. So there's a lot of going on. We have the new year is coming around. January will be here soon enough. Oof, I hope you guys have fun plans for this weekend. And there'll be another new moon come January 6th, which is actually Ukrainian Christmas. Doesn't matter. New moon, new year, new me. And I started thinking a little bit more about what that's like. We make all these resolutions. We talk a big game about how we're going to change. It's this magical turning point, this little button or, I don't know, line in our head where we say, okay, I'm going to push it, I'm going to cross it, and that's it. I am going to do blank. I'm going to change something. It's time. Here's this cool goal, arbitrary timeline, whatever. It's just this weird thing that humans do. So whether or not you have New Year's resolutions, I'd love to hear them. But that's not what the show is about, because I was taking a little thought about what is new moon, new year, new me. Everybody says new year, new me, here I come. And I thought, what's a metal way of interpreting that? And I realized, let's have some fucking fun with it. Forget this whole, I'm gonna exercise for 3 days and get skinny, because that ship sailed, by the way. And instead, new me, I'm going to interpret it alongside new moon, but I'm going to do it a little differently. What's a really metal aspect? And I thought, fucking werewolves. Werewolves. It's going to be werewolves. So that is what tonight's playlist is about. New moon, new year, new me. Except almost all the songs, with the exception of some new releases from the last couple weeks that I haven't gotten a chance to play for you and I want to put in your ears. Songs about werewolves. Forget transforming into a hot new you who's better at finances or has better impulse control or whatever. Forget that nonsense. We're not doing that. No, if new you is coming for the new year, then potentially it's some werewolf in London bullshit. Absolutely. You saw the word wolves and you had to be here. Atta girl. So yeah, almost every track on the playlist tonight, because metal is obsessed with beasts and the transformation of the human psyche and soul and everything. That's what we're doing tonight. Werewolf metal. So yes, even though I'm rocking, can we just for a second, since I've got you guys here and we're talking a little bit about it, can you admire my four-sided Caledon Brood long sleeve? Oh, look at this. This thing's sick. It's also, you can't tell, but it's gold and glittery. And if you're just listening, if this is just the radio and you're just here for the sounds in your ear holes, well, that's no problem. JP says, I would totally let a werewolf bite me. Sure, absolutely, no problem. It's just a little bit of fun. So, werewolf metal. And unrelated metal shirt, because I couldn't resist. Although I will say I did almost wear a Sonata Arctica shirt. And yes, there is Sonata Arctica on the playlist tonight. Some of the most original werewolf metal around. Right. So if you guys are cool with that, that is essentially the way that tonight's playlist is going to play out. There are a couple tracks that I snuck in just because there's some new music and I want to put it in your ears. I want you to feel good. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to hear some new tracks. So we're going to do that. It has to be a girl werewolf. I missed that. You know what? Listen, I'm open-minded. You can't tell. I don't know. It's not like wolves. Are we talking about, oh gosh, I'm so scared to have some discussion with chat on this topic because things could get really furry. Hey, Jason. Oh my God, it's so cool to see you. This is the resolution for 2023. If you're a werewolf, you're going to self-exorcism. That too. Listen, you know what? I'm not going to tell you the proper way to transform yourself, but I'm just scared it's going to go a little bit furry in here because I was going to say, does it have to be a girl werewolf? I mean, are we talking really anthropomorphic, peopleized werewolves? Are we talking the cool, awesome werewolves that are just wolves that walk on their hind legs and are murder machines? Because you don't know what gender they are. It doesn't matter. And then I was thinking, okay, because, the only animal that I know of right off the bat that has really, really gendered genitalia is, lots of teats on them wolf ladies. Yes, we did. We went there. There it is. I was going to say elephants, elephant women, elephant ladies, especially elephant mamas. They have big mommy milkers. I don't know if you've ever seen this. They have the most people-like breasts I've ever seen. And if you didn't know this, I am so sorry to tell you. And I'm also so concerned that I brought this up in chat. So whatever your inclination is, this is kind of like how we used to talk about mermaids. If you guys have been around for the past 5 years, and you have, because last week was episode 200. 200 episodes of Full Force Radio. This is episode 201. We used to talk about mermaids and how, do you want, are you a top fish or bottom fish mermaid? Who are you? Hey, Otto. Yay. Mary after Christmas, Otto, and almost Happy New Year. Welcome to our wolf metal show. But now, because anybody that's coming in the middle of this conversation, we have to go through the topic now. Is we always ask the question: are you a top fish or bottom fish kind of mermaid kind of person? And I always said, I mean, technically, you probably, like, I'm kind of team top fish mermaid, because if there's a portion, if we're just talking about soul attractiveness and like the, I'm searching for words that are appropriate, the connection points between people, you probably want the lady half on the bottom, right? Top fish mermaid. I don't know. What team mermaid are you? Doesn't matter. Maybe I don't even want to know. But so now you know, something werewolves, elephants have human lady boobs, top fish mermaid. That's fine. So let's get back to werewolves. However you prefer your werewolf, with or without genitalia, we're not gendering werewolves tonight. Because of course, metal loves the idea of a werewolf. Metal loves the idea of a personified anger or hate or rage or hunter or human nature that expresses itself in a way that is as pure as the animals around us. However it is that you're interpreting what being a werewolf or a crossover monster is, that's what's on tonight's playlist. And it's a lot of fun because werewolves are one of those sort of mythical mythos creatures that stick with us. They do. They stay with us, and we think about them a lot because they're cool, they're creepy, they're fascinating, they're an interesting aspect of the human psyche that continually comes back to haunt us in horror, in other genres as well. And there's a lot of metal written about man returning to his base nature. So believe it or not, I actually found like an easy peasy hour full of metal. Ain't no problem finding a lot of werewolves tonight. And also some great new tracks. So yeah, Mariano says my personality is different when the moon is full, right? I mean, we joke a lot often, and some do and some don't, but we often joke sort of about the really woo-woo astrology stuff or astronomy stuff. We see what's happening physically in the heavenly bodies, and we talk a lot about what's happening in our own heavenly bodies. But there's a truth to it, right? There's an absolute truth to it. Primal behaviors change with the changing of the seasons, with the changing of the astros. There's a lot to be said about renewal. And that's why it is new moon, new year, new me. So we have some obvious classic tracks. You guys are going to be able to guess some of the classic metal on the playlist tonight, because obviously there are a couple real good classic heavy metal tracks that'll be just right at home in here. But I've also got a lot of stuff. There's a lot of power metal, but there are some ballads that I'm fitting in tonight as well. So I have got a little bit from across the board, and there's some down-tempo stuff, and there's some thrash metal in here, and I'm excited to play all of this. Yeah, new year, new me. You don't necessarily have to go the new moon werewolf route. You don't have to. That's optional. That's just part of the music that I'm providing for you. So I did think that I would start with something classic. And for a lot of people, this track, I can tell you, it was one of my sort of first, like, outside of the box power metal experiences. After I kind of first got into metal, we've talked about it on 200 episodes of this show, that I first kind of got into the new wave of British heavy metal, bands like Motorhead, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. And then the more that I consumed and the more that I explored, I moved into power and symphonic metal because that was really accessible at the time and kind of a natural progression. And from there, I've fallen very deep into the rabbit hole, or the wolf hole, if you will. Actually, you know what? Nobody fall into a wolf hole. Let's not. But so one of the first shows that I ever kind of drove to see myself that wasn't sort of a big band or that wasn't mainstream radio was I drove downtown here in Vancouver to a venue that no longer exists. Dicks on Dicks. Hi, 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖘. And hello, 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖘's here too. Yay, all the people are here for tell me about your new self and your new year, or maybe just your new wolfiness. Or maybe just that you knew that elephants had big mommy milker lady boobs on them. Lady elephants, that is. I'm just touching on all the topics already. But before we fall down that wolf hole, there's an old venue here called Richards on Richards, a famous venue downtown. We used to call it Dick's on Dick's. And Sonata Arctica was playing. Now, Sonata Arctica is a band that for me will forever be, as cheesy and ridiculous as they are, they will forever be this fabulous entry point. 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖘 so unimpressed. This fabulous entry point into metal. It was very accessible at the time. And I remember I went and I saw live a show that was a couple years after 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖘 came out. And I'm going to play you something off this album. Now, this album was released in 1999, which to me doesn't feel like that long ago. And then I remember, well, okay, Blue's saying that the expression mommy milkers is troubling, but the reality is I don't know if elephant ladies have boobs all the time or just when they're nursing. So specifically, when a lady elephant has a baby, it's just weird. I didn't know this. I went like most of my life not realizing that, hi Artsy, that an elephant who is nursing her young has breasts that really just look like a person's. And that's very strange. It's one of those things that you don't spend a lot of time thinking about. And then you see it and you're like, oh no, what? And your brain kind of goes for a second. But that's the topic we're on. I'm not going to look up. You know what I'm not going to do tonight in the interest of the show and my own sanity and for all of you is other animals that have human-like breasts. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Jesus. How did it only take 17 minutes to be a complete disaster in here? I want to blame you guys, but this might be my fault. I'm not sure. Can we finish the story? 1999. Yes, Mariana, we're going to party like it's 1999. 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖘 came out. And, if you look at Sonata Arctica's discography and you go way back, this was their first album, their debut album. This is like basically... They don't show it too much on nature shows. Is it too embarrassing for them? Well, my answer is probably they know that humans are a little bit gross and that we really like boobs, and they're just trying to smooth that out. We already have been really crappy to elephants. We treat elephants really poorly. The last thing we need to do is also sexually harass them. Tonight's show is not about elephants. It is about wolves. Hashtag stop elephant harassment. Still a very relevant and important hashtag, even if nobody needs to know that it is about elephant boobies. Doing the Lord's work here on Fullforce Radio. So 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖘 was basically like the first album that they released that really became popular. And it is an absolute treasure. So if you go back to 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖘, there are a ton, 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖘. There are a ton of tracks on here that for me are these like nostalgia trip sing-along fests. Letter to Dana, Replica, Eighth Commandment, like these are fantastic songs. But there's one song on this album that kind of cemented Sonata Arctica as the wolf band. And if you ever kind of got a chance to go out and see them live or get a piece of their merch or whatever, they had the like Howling Wolf t-shirts. They were right in there in the 90s, the 3 Wolf Moon shirt. Like, damn, they were built for this time period, early 2000s. And this song is part of it. So I'm going to play it for you as the lead-off track tonight. It is literally a ridiculously fun power metal track about being a werewolf. And if that doesn't fit tonight, well, I didn't have enough time to look up tracks about boobs or elephants, and I don't regret that. So, let me fix my face. Let me say hello to chat hello in chat to everybody. Let me get the overlay looking good. I'm going to have to turn off all the Christmas stuff from last week. And if you're just here to listen to a great radio show, well, this is it. And I will try to clean it up. I will also eat some pizza, which I got to be careful. I don't want to dox myself using a pizza box today because apparently that's big news on the Twitter twat. I think I would rather just focus on werewolves. Let's get muffin. I'm gonna try and get the visuals going, but I might not be able to.
Sitting in a corner all alone, staring from the bottom of his soul, watching the night coming from the window. It'll all collapse tonight. The full moon is here again, in sickness and in health. Understanding, so demanding, it has no need. There's one for every season, makes him insane to know.
𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖆. I love that song. It's so ridiculous. And apparently we're having pizza related lyrics in chat now. New pizza lyrics. So yeah, you know what? Listen, we determined a long time ago, you know, the whatever pizza code word bullshit. It does not belong in my show because I really love pizza as a food. I do not care what other people think about it or use it for. I use it as sustenance, and it is delicious. So here in Full Force Radio, pizza is only pizza, and we shall only refer to it as pizza. God tier food, God tier track. So there you go. This song is forever ingrained in my mind because I heard it live for the first time. I had not actually ever heard the track before I went to go see Sonata Arctica live. And so when I heard this song, you know, this was their most popular song at the time. It probably still is the song that Sonata Arctica is known for. And you know, you're in the crowd and everybody's already super excited. And all of a sudden there's this like, you know, power metal mosh pit where everybody's running around screaming, run away, run away, run away. And it's just, everyone is singing. It is so fun. Oh my gosh. So yeah, if you need a band to sing along to, if you need, oh, good. Okay. We got a great wolf game. Oh, there's quite a few, really cool kind of stylistic games out there. But yeah, drop your wolf related shit in chat. But I am now laughing because Clay has got, she should not block the oven door. What would the pizza related version of that be? Munch away, munch away, munch away. Oh, it doesn't matter. But, you know, other than the first time that I was there and hearing this track and being blown away and being like, fuck yeah, I love this. This is amazing. That was also the first time that I ever got, that I ever fucked around and found out at a show. I'm not proud of it now, but I will tell you guys the story just because, you know, it has to be memorialized in one way or another. So I had a friend at the time who has since moved out of country, and I hope he's doing much better. I have not spoken to him since he left. He very purposefully decided to no longer kind of have us in his life. And I think part of that was because he was kind of a troubled guy. But the long and the short of it is, he, when he got drinking and we would go to concerts together, he would get fucking feisty. And he had this thing, his name is Juan, and he used to tell us that he would respect us more if we did things for him. And it was a stupid game between all of our friends where we were always trying to earn one respect points. And saying that out loud now is absurd. When you hear that, you're like, wow, you must have been an absolute idiot. And I agree. I must have been. But so at the time, Juan was like, hey, get in there in that mosh pit. Like, this is a lame mosh pit. Get in there, start throwing fists. He's like, see that big guy? Hit that big guy. You'll get like 10 Juan respect points. And as somebody who was new to the scene, and in general wanted to be a cool guy who doesn't afraid of anything, and who had also imbibed a problematic amount of alcohol at a very young age, because how old was I in 1999? Or let's call it it was probably like 2002, let's say. I was probably like, well, somebody help me do the math. 1985, 5 years put us at 90. Another 9 years would be 14, 50. Oh, God, I was like 17. I was like underage, definitely. I probably would have used a fake ID. Don't tell my mom. Mom, you're not listening. Shh. And so we were in this club, and Mom was like, go hit that big guy. And I was like, yeah! So it was immediately run into the mosh pit like this. And, you know, you find the guy, crack him one. And he turns around and he looks at me. It's quiet for a second, or at least, you know, between us, there's silence. And he pops me in the mouth. 1000%. Fucked around, found out. It was hilarious and deserved. And so I came back to Juan with a fat lip, and he was like, oh, you actually hit him? And I was like, yeah, skinned up knuckles and a fat lip. I'm like, yeah, is that what I was supposed to do? And he was like, no, you don't hit people in the pit. That's uncool. And that just sticks with me to this day. I was led astray. I did an uncool thing. Don't hit people in the pit. God, young Crimson Clad was an idiot. I'm still really dumb, but yes, Sonata Arctica will always be synonymous with me learning important life lessons. Yikes. All right, so shall we continue, friends? new year, new me. And shortly after that, a much more logical Crimson Clad who knew much better and how to be kinder and better in the metal scene to the people around her. Yeah. All right. So, like I said, tonight's playlist is solidly werewolf, wolf, moon, and transformation centric. And I'm stoked to play a lot of these tracks for you because there are some great ones. And I'm going to intersperse some new tracks as well, so we get a little bit of everything. I'm going to eat a pizza. We're going to sing along. It's going to be a good time. So if you're just joining me for Full Force Radio, taking a small jaunt down memory lane and playing you a bunch of really cool tracks about becoming a werewolf. Why? Because metal is full of them, and the new year and the new moon are coming, and that is what I decided to do tonight. So if you guys are cool with it, I'm going to play another track before I tell more terrible stories about my idiocy as a young pup, shall we say? Maybe so. Because you don't have to hit people in the pit if you can pick them up and throw them out of the pit. I definitely can't do that. And you know what? Now I realize, and certainly hardcore pits, like certain subgenres of metal, absolutely, the pit is for fighting. You don't get in the pit unless you expect to get hit. But power metal is not that place. And overall, like, most people go to concerts to enjoy the show. They like being a little rough. They like the atmosphere of the pit. But the whole point of being there is certainly not to get decked in the face by a fucking drunk idiot. My bad. So, the wolf in me came out that night. Okay. So I do have a lot of really great music tonight, and it's quite funny because we're kind of doing an up and down sort of, playlist where the tempo is going to change a lot. I was hitting the mosh pit once in the nose. It was metal as fuck. Yes, I'm not going to lie. If you could come out of a mosh pit with a bloody nose, a bloody lip, anytime you're rocking some bodily fluids, but that's not 100% true. But anytime you're rocking like a pit injury, it's super metal and it's fun. It's all because the pit is the one place where you fall down, somebody's going to help you back up. You keep order and you keep friendships in the pit. Pit rules. I learned them after a little bit, and they have stuck with me ever since. So I do want to play you guys some songs that maybe you have not heard before. And one of the things that I wanted to do is I wanted to play you Type O Negative, because on October Rust, which is, of course, arguably one of the more famous Type O Negatives albums, there is a track that specifically talks about the wolf moon. Yeah. And it doesn't always get a lot of attention, because this is an album that had Love You to Death, Be My Druidess, Green Man, Red Water, My Girlfriend's Girlfriend, that cover of Cinnamon Girl. Like, this is a glorious album. And obviously Life Is Killing Me, Bloody Kisses, lots of famous Type O Negative albums. But this one, there's some good shit on here. And one of the tracks on the special edition is called Wolf Moon, including Zoanthic Paranoia. And it fits perfectly into tonight's playlist. So I'm going to try and bounce us back and forth. I'm going to try and get some up-tempo stuff and then some down-tempo stuff. And I'm going to take us through the whole thing and play you some more werewolf metal. Yeah? So hopefully you guys will love it. And any time is a good time for Type O Negative. My name is Crimson Clad, and this is Fullforce Radio. It's episode 201. Doesn't sound quite as cool as 200, but we cast the milestone and we keep on trucking. What is it? Turn right at the first star you see, straight on till morning? Tonight it's the moon. We are navigating by the moon.
She'll be bleeding again, and in the pine ways we'll alleviate the pain. On holy water So in this grace, we'll be meeting again. And on that great day, I will tease you all the same. On holy water, 𝖍𝖊𝖎𝖎𝖛,
There you go. If you've ever wanted to hear Peter Steele sing a woo, there she is. All right. So let's see if we can get that focus. Maybe focus on me. Focus, camera. You can do it. I have faith. Ooh, we can't focus. We're trying though. We're giving it our best shot. Hey, welcome to Full Force Radio. My name is Crimson Clad, and yeah, Mariano in the chat is maybe pointing out that, you know, we are mostly meat bags full of water. It's maybe unsurprising that the moon. Hey, Hylick! Yay! Very merry, happy in between. Time is a flat circle. We don't know what day it is, but we're eating a lot of cheese and getting real chubby. New moon, new year, new me. Werewolf metal tonight. We just played some Typo Negative. Having a time, good time had by all. So yeah, great track and very sort of typo in that it kind of starts off sinister and menacing and the lyrics are quite evil. And then by the end, it's almost got this sort of wistful, hopeful melody and feeling, and it feels really good. Happy almost new run around the sun. That's right, a new run around the sun and a new moon for everybody coming in the new year. So I'm pretty stoked to play some new music for you guys and to play a bunch of werewolf music for you guys. And of course, in the first hour, we got absolutely nothing done. We talked about boobs on elephants and whether or not you like your werewolves like super anthropomorphic. Because of course, immediately we talked about sexy werewolves. Of course we did. There are no words, but of course we did. So eat pizza, play music. I mean, I would love to hear a little bit more about your guys' holidays, what you guys did, what's going on for you in the new year. I'm going to try and get all the pizza out of my teeth, but the reality is I'm going to keep eating it, so I will probably have more pizza in my teeth. But if you're here to listen to music and watch me kind of do the thing, Well, I mean, it's not really your fault. I mean, we would have gone there. The reality is we probably would have talked about wolf and elephant boobies no matter what. But I do like the ability to blame you guys when things kind of go sideways. It's nice to be able to just pretend it wasn't my fault. I mean, I could very easily control the chat and not discuss any of that stuff. I could, but where's the fucking fun in that? So a whole new year of Full Force Radio begins. If you missed last week, I have to say it's worth a replay. And I will throw it out here because I get a lot of flack from you guys, and I think it's warranted. But yeah, in the coming year, we're going to work a little bit harder on expanding our Web 2 presence, bringing more people to Web 3, getting them listening to the radio station, getting them experiencing some of the cool decentralized stuff that we're doing, but also kind of spreading the love on the show a little bit more because, yes, I get yelled at every week. So I am working on that, and I am making a solid, concerted effort to have replays up right away and to have them be accessible to you guys. So if you haven't yet, you can go check out the YouTube channel. If you're watching on Twitch, that's amazing. You could definitely consider watching on Vim TV instead. But there are lots of options, and I want to be where you are. So I am working on improving the experiences across all of the different platforms. It's important, and I am trying. So I am actually going to play a new track for you tonight, and I'm kind of mixing in old stuff, new stuff, and and then we'll just we'll figure it out as we go. Now, one of the tracks that I did want to play for you guys is some new 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖘 for the Sky. And this is a band that I don't actually, to be quite honest, I don't actually get a chance to play for you guys too often. And that's quite sad because, of course, these guys do cool, I don't even know what I would call them. They're somewhere in between melodic, slightly progressive. They've got elements of dark and black metal, a little bit of everything. And so I do want to play a new track for you. And this, let me just take a boo when this came out. It's off an album that came out this year, 2022. And it was actually released earlier this month, December 9th. I've only listened through it once, but there was one track that stuck out for me. And I obviously want to put some good music in your guys' ears. So I'm going to play you a track called My Bones to the Sea. Now, this is in no way, shape, or form at all related to tonight's playlist. It's not. There is no new moon aspect. And I will say, there's no werewolf aspect, which is the main one. And that is fine. I've got a couple new tracks that I'm just going to kind of squeak in wherever they fit. And just in the hopes of kind of mixing things up and helping you find some great new music before the year is out. So tell me a little bit about what you're going to do on the weekend, whether you care or not. Some people love New Year's. Some people hate New Year's. I think it's a wonderful time to have a little bit of fun. And I'm pretty sure that next week, since it will be, gosh, it's the 29th today for me. Maybe for some of you it's already later. But next week we'll be into January, we'll be into 2023, and it'll be time for my best albums of 2022. So next week will just basically be me counting off my favorite shit and being incredibly nepotistic and playing only the things I want to hear and subjecting you to my personal tastes, which is what I do every week. So you keep coming back. You deserve it. I'm going to play this track because it's one that stuck out to me off of this album. The cover art is beautiful, and the song it's beautiful too, if you don't read too far into it. But that's what we like to do. My Bones to the Sea on Full Force Radio. Brand new 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖘 for the Sky. There you go. Brand new Harakiri for the sky. Chop Lamb is here. 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖆 is here. People are hopping in and out all over the place. Hey, wherever you come from, I hope you have had a very merry whatever it is. Welcome back to the first Fullforce radio after Christmas, and this is episode 201. Our Christmas episode was episode 200. It was awesome. I promised you guys I would drop the post in the chat. But yeah, if you weren't here, basically we did a little Christmas poetry reading, and I actually took the night before Christmas and I interpreted it as non-Christmas metal songs, and it was so fun and everybody super loved it. And I hope that if you didn't get a chance to spend Christmas with me, that at some point that brings you some joy to do so. But tonight we are now focused on the year ahead. New year, new moon, new me. It is a very transformative playlist, and these new tracks are interspersed, but the whole damn playlist is about being a werewolf. And man, are there a lot of metal songs about werewolves. You know, it's kind of amazing that we didn't do this show already. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, I got the hiccups. But way back when, I don't even remember what episode, but way back when, I did do, in probably my first year, Duran. Yes, exactly. Although, to be fair, there is probably a sick cover of Hungry Like the Wolf out there somewhere. I don't even doubt it. It's probably awesome. But yes, so way back when, if you go way back, I did a show about our connection to beasts and the sort of idea that inside we are all incredibly feral, and a lot of our emotions and the way that we view ourselves is often likened to animals. It's what we identify with. And so that episode was really popular, and I'll try and go back and find it for you guys. But tonight we are very specifically focusing in on werewolves, because new moon, new me, forget it. Like I said at the beginning of the show, New Year's resolutions are overrated. I don't care what you're going to do. Set some goals. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to someone around you. That's it. That's all you got to do for New Year's. Live your best life. But if you don't want to work out for 3 days and then be mad that you're not infinitely skinny, or if you don't want to make more money, get a new job, whatever it is. Yes, 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖆 is saying Duran Duran and 𝖭𝖏𝑖𝒻𝒂 Arctica are the first ones that come to mind. I did indeed already play 𝖭𝑏𝑖𝒻𝒂 Arctica's Full Moon, and I told everybody a little story about my first time seeing them shortly after 𝖒𝖊𝖆𝑖𝒻𝒂 was released underage in a venue here in Vancouver that no longer exists. Perhaps because they let in underage children who started fistfights in the mosh pit, but I digress. So tonight, I am taking, again, a metal interpretation of the idea of new moon, new year, new me, and my new me is a werewolf. So there you go. Forget the traditional interpretation. Fullforce radio does things a little differently. So yes, some new songs mixed in, and of course, some old songs in there as well. Now, one of the bands that I want to play for you guys, and since everybody's a little quiet and just using me as background noise tonight, I am happy to say I will keep trucking on and I will play you guys some more music. And I want to play you something by a band that I've been looking for an excuse to play for you for a while. And it is, of course, another sort of entirely wolf-themed metal band. And they've been around in one incarnation to another since the 90s. And I'm not saying bands in the 90s were completely obsessed with wolves, but I mean, kind of seems so. 3 Wolf Moon shirt. It's enduring legend. And so the band initially started out as the Wolf Pack, and then they had a bunch of other names, and I can't remember. But they kind of do a sort of slightly thrash, slightly crust, kind of punky sound. Yes, there will be some Powerwolf, and actually there will be some non-Powerwolf on the menu. But yes, absolutely. Also, for those of you who are here new, I'm showing everybody that steps into chat and that may or may not be watching. Check out my new 4-sided death metal long sleeve. I am wearing a green long sleeve and a red skull bandana. So I'm very Christmassy, even though Christmas is over. I'm more Christmassy tonight than I am. But yes, I'm very happy about this. My Kaladin brewed shirt. It came from Germany. It is the best gift I've ever gotten. You can't tell. I wonder if I can get it close enough to the camera. If you're just listening, you won't be able to see it. But it's, goddamn you. Focus. It's not going to happen. But trust me when I say what looks like neon yellow on this shirt is actually the glitteriest gold print you've ever seen. I sparkle, baby. Jack says the country folk have the wolf moon shirts too. Yeah, listen, it is just a base instinct. It's part of our human nature. We align very strongly with the wolves. But, so, this is some sort of like blackened thrash, crust punk kind of metal. I mean, if you like bolt thrower and fucking driller killer or whatever, you're going to enjoy this band. But the best way that I have to describe them, and I've been kind of trying to find a way to work them into a playlist at some point, is they sound a little bit like a harder Motorhead if Motorhead only sang about being a wolf and sometimes like a wolf in an army. And so the band's name is now, at this point, Wolf Brigade. They've been Wolf Brigade since the early 2000s, and they basically write songs about being an angry-ass wolf, often getting into war. How? Why? Don't worry about it. Don't read too far into it, but it's fun. And it definitely does have this sort of edgy, lightly Motorhead-esque vibe, but with a bit more oomph to it. My camera is just losing its mind. We're going to hope that it can focus, maybe? Nah, you don't need to see me. You just need to hear the music. So, let me play you guys some Wolf Brigade. I'm going to play something not off their newest album, but I'm going to play off an album from 2019, and it's called 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖙 Reality. So, if you need more wolves and more aggression and more fast, crusty, thrashy, punky metal in your life, I am happy to oblige. I'm bringing you moons. I'm bringing you werewolves. That's it. That's all I got for you. And you know what? It's damn good on Full Force Radio.
Into my eyes, one float look, don't turn to ice. Inflame, my blood and my
So, excuse me. So the reality is the only problem that I have with these guys is all their music is freaking short. Because it is classically thrash, it's crusty, it's punky, and all of the songs are short as hell. But that's a great track, and it's got a lot of vibes. Yeah, it's obviously the Wolfman, but it's actually a slightly different take on your traditional werewolfian lore. And in this case, instead of, being passed down through a bloodline and bitten by, a wolf and turning under the, full moon, this take on being a lycanthropy, having lycanthropy, being lupin, whatever. This take on it is that he has mutated into a wolfman after being exposed to nuclear radiation, which is pretty cool. There's some Fallout vibes there, some sort of stalker vibes, hey, yay! Viking Adventure is here. Mary, this is so exciting. Peeps are showing up from all over the place. Oh, it's always great when I get a chance to see you guys after a holiday, because I know it's wild, times are weird, the weather's shitty, we don't know what time it is, everybody is fat and full of food, or conversely not fat enough and not full of food enough. So whenever you guys hop out, makes me happy. I'm stoked. So yeah, check out my pizza, it's delicious. Transformative Metal, all about werewolves tonight. And in the chat, Patient Zero has created a GIF that is absolutely terrifying. My face, speaking of looking like you've been mutated via nuclear radiation, I am unhinging my jaw, and it's awful. It looks like I am getting ready to just envelop someone's head. It's, don't like it. It's a gift. So, while we're in the middle of the show, and not quite middle, but while we're an hour in and we've played some of the tracks, we've already talked about how there are certain animals, i.e. the elephant, that have terrifyingly human, you were so sick you couldn't eat or drink for 2 days. That is the absolute worst thing to be around Christmas. I am so sorry, and I'm so hopeful that your family saved you some food. Special food. 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝑑, did you write this, or did you do this with Chat GPT? Because this is cool. Now, with all that being said, AI wrote a new song. It's the Wolfman too. So yes, it took the song and created a new song. My body is strong, my senses are sharp. I roam the night and I howl at the stars. I am the protector of all that is wild. I defend my territory with a ferocity mild. Okay, well, that was a stretch, because if you're ferocious, you're probably not mild. But it did try. Good job, Chat GPT. Oh no, your best friend made you dinner. Was it your best friend that made you ill? Maybe don't answer that question. We don't want to judge anybody live on air. But we've already talked about elephants having human mommy milkers and talking about what kind of werewolf you'd be most interested in, which brought us back to the classic question of top fish or bottom fish mermaid. I am team top fish. But it's an age-old question that has been going on for 5+ years, 6+ years. No, he's a great cook. Oh, so that's better. He made you food after you were sick. Perfection. I'm just saying, there was at least once where, I'm a fantastic cook, but I don't know what was happening. And one time I undercooked a piece of meat and I made somebody sick, and it was the worst thing I've ever done. And I'll never forget it. It was very humbling. So, it happens. We all have off days. But, if you haven't given your answer yet in chat, or we've never discussed it before, I do want to know, what's your mermaid preference? Are you a top fish or a bottom fish mermaid? These are important questions. I do need to know. Yes, like dog pants was solved. Same question. Do they wear their pants on all 4 legs up to their chest, or do they just wear them on the back 2 legs, but up to the center of their body? Are you a top fish mermaid or a bottom fish mermaid? Important questions here in Full Force Radio. So, new year, new moon, new me, fuck your resolutions. Resolutions are one of those things where you're kind of, in a lot of cases, you're probably setting yourself up for failure. When you are ready to change, set a goal and make it happen. You don't need a new year to do that, but it can be good impetus. So, listen, have a goal, don't have a goal, whatever. Can both parts be fish, then cook and eat the mermaid? If there's no maid It's not a mermaid. Merman. No, you can't just eat a fish. You're avoiding answering the question. We shall continue, but my take on it is, listen, if we're going to transfer everything into the metal realm, if I'm going to do a metal Christmas song or a metal Christmas show that has no Christmas songs, then I could certainly do a metal New Year's show that has no New Year's songs, and that's what we're doing. Apocalyptic setting, top mermaid. So are you saying top fish or bottom fish? Oh, fantasy bottom. Okay. So no eating a murmur. No, that's not what we're here for. That wasn't the question. Stay on topic. In the meantime, I'm going to keep playing you guys metal because it turns out there are a ton. Oh, you're going to cuddle with your sick dog. Give your pupper many, many, many snuggles from all of us. Sick puppies. The maid is on the top. The fish is on the bottom. Top fish. No, I am top fish. Top fish. Fish head, little fins, sexy human vagina and legs. Top fish mermaid. I'm team top fish. Maybe you're team bottom fish. I don't judge. That's the traditional way. If you grew up watching The Little Mermaid and you think Ariel is smoking and everybody should be a bottom fish mermaid, I would not judge you. Me personally, team top fish. So, while you are being traumatized by that, I'm going to play a classic. And it's something I haven't had a chance to play in a long time. And I'm going to play it for you here because, you know what? It's my show and I can do what I want. I'm going to play you guys some Death Clock. And now, I will say, because what kind of mermaids are you creating? The ones that make sense. Look at this. If I say bottom mermaid and I search that GIF, what do I get? Does anybody have a GIF of a... Okay, no. So let's see. Mermaid. Can I get an image of a mermaid that is bottom fish that way? No. I do, however, get a beefy ginger man mermaid. You have to build things from bottom to top. So mer is the bottom and maid is the top. Why do I have to build things from bottom to top? You know what? There's a lot going on in chat. Chop Lamb is saying, is the question implying that there's going to be consensual intercourse happening? Well, yes, it would absolutely be consensual. Don't go rape a fish. Don't go rape anything. God, I'm just saying. If we're talking solely, all I'm saying is I'm team top fish. Clayson, listen, all I'm saying is the top half being fish probably doesn't change much, but awkward conversations are now impossible. That's true. At least if she's just gaping at you, not in the way that you're thinking, but this one, it's because she's trying to breathe. You dare me to build a pizza top to bottom. Pizzas and mermaids aren't the same thing. Living beings are not pizzas. Pizzas are not, you know what? I don't have to take this nonsense from any of you. We're going to play Death Clock. And the reason we're going to play Death Clock is because this song is actually one of the more serious songs that Brendan Small ever wrote. And it's from Death Album 2. And I'm going to play you a track called Bloodlines. And I'm pretty sure it was used for a long time as like the intro to the show. It's probably a song that you've heard a lot. And I have played it on the show before. And it's a song that's like a little bit problematic and that I kind of wanted to talk about just quickly. I know nobody really cares, but you know how I am. I love to deep dive these things. And if you listen to this show and you come back for informative metal radio and you're wondering why we've been yelling about fucking fish vaginas for 20 minutes on a show about werewolves, well, still informative. But Bloodlines, the song, from what's been hinted at by Brendan himself and sort of the music video that was released to go with it, the song is specifically about being part of a bloodline that is extinct and that is a more primal bloodline. And so specifically, it tends to be considered to be related to being a Native American or a First Nations person. But of course, the problematic aspect of that is when we talk about the lyrics of this song, speak specifically about being animalistic, primal, violent, aggressive. And the idea is we're trying not to associate these sort of older cultures with being savages or being animals. So you can kind of see where this is like rough, in that they had a much bigger connection to nature. They were hunter-gatherers. There were a lot of aspects about their culture and their lives that really fit this track. And also, ew, yuck. So my personal kind of placing this on the list tonight is because if you take this away from that sort of known construct and you instead replace it with something like being a werewolf, passing down the bloodline of lycanthropy, you know, chasing, hunting, murdering, ripping, tearing, and creating more werewolves, fuck yeah! In fact, my interpretation is better. So I put it on tonight's playlist because I love 𝖊𝖐𝖏. It is the best non-existent, existent metal cartoon made-up band ever. Pizza with mermaids and olives. Are you talking about sardines? God, can you imagine a sardine mermaid? It'd be like a combination of a fairy and like a mermaid. Just tiny. Absurd. I'm sorry, sir, it won't work. Eileen just came back and is like, what's happening? And that's how you know she had other stuff to do, because we've been talking about mermaid vaginas for more time than I would like to admit on this werewolf show. So, yada, yada, yada. However you feel about this and however you want to interpret it. Unfortunately, Brendan Small has not been working with this, property for a long time. We've talked about it on the show before, how Metalocalypse and 𝖊𝖐𝖏 and this idea of a cartoon band as sort of the main musician writing the songs. Unfortunately, the way that things played out, the property got fought over. Brendan no longer owns it. It's just a whole thing. So, in sort of homage to what has been, I chose this song because it totally fits. Yeah, Jack is like, dude, mermaids are disgusting. They're slimy and fishy. Yeah, just put that on the top half. Just the less slimy, fishy. Yeah, again, forget it. I'm just saying, I'm team top. Team top mermaid. This is rough. It's rough. Bottom mermaid, top mermaid. Just tell me where you put the fish. Can we talk about how that is a fucking amazing song? And if you weren't looking, yes, the cover of that album, because it's Death Album 2, right? Which is a fantastic album nonetheless. But it obviously has Mermaider too, because please don't forget that Dethklok does have more than one mermaid related song. In fact, about no, you know what? It's gonna sound ridiculous, and yes, obviously, I mean, having a romantic relationship with my reverse mermaid, top fish mermaid, is important. But it's not that I am reductive to the point of women only being about vaginas. However, God, this is a werewolf show, for fuck's sakes. However, I will say I actually really enjoy fish. Like, I think they're neat animals. If you don't specifically like pick the really like weird nasty ones like the blobfish, most of my, you know, Method to Madness is like, I fucking hate top half. What a disaster. Thank you. By the way, I meant to have a whiskey glass here that fucking things drop into, but best laid plans. So now that's it. Everybody's like, ooh, fish head's out of control. I like fish. I think they're neat looking. I have a lot of fish. I have shrimp. I did a whole show on Cyberbuzz talking about our intrinsic human connection to the ocean and aquatic marine life, and how we actually basically think that aquascapes are a representation of what is truly unique to Earth. So listen, you may come for me when I call for you. And this show's about oh my God, I almost said the show's about mermaid. This show is about wolf men, werewolves, wolf people, wolves. New year, new moon, new me. So let's continue. Now, like I was saying, that track, Bloodlines, if we kind of just jump to it, and it's a sick song. It's got those, you guys know I love like the floor toms. I love the double toms, like just no snares, just sick melodic drum beats. But let's just flip back there for 1 second. And I'm going to pull the lyrics up because I want to just explain why this is on here. After we've already touched all over your fucking wolves and elephant titties and mermaids. It's already happened. I'm sorry. God, like I said, Mom, please don't be embarrassed. But this specifically, if you take it out of the context about being about Native Americans and kind of pull it away from some of the problematic aspects of reducing them to savages, one of the things that when you take this is it's a perfect werewolf song. Let's grab it here. I'm going to read the lyrics to you because they're amazing. I track my history, bloody burned family tree. Native blood runs in me, murderous tendencies. Keep bloodlust away, keep violence at bay. Can't deny genetics, animal DNA. Disappear into the fog, gonna multiply the tainted blood. Can't remember where you go at night, you've got the bloody teeth and woven sight. Ancestor genocide, we were killed to save lives. Just one beast did survive. Now I live to take life. Keep yourself from me, can't help what I be. I am man and beast, your flesh I will eat. Fall right into homicide, become the beast that lives inside. Sink your fangs into the skin, drink the blood so you may live. Kill until you find the one that will carry tainted sons. Death brings life into dark, infest the world and make your mark. Tonight, go perpetuate, go procreate. Ensure homicide, keep bloodlines alive. Our children will regress and hunger for the flesh. They can't be controlled. They hunger for your soul. Tonight, close your eyes and become the animals that you once were. Bloodlines, I'll take your life. I'll give you life. Yeah! I choose to believe that that's about werewolves. That's just me. Welcome to the Werewolf Show. Yeah, Eileen's like, wolves and mermaids, this is the best. We're talking about the moon and elephant titties and werewolves and mermaids, and we're having a great time. So if you're just here for the first time or you're just hanging out, I'm glad you've joined me. This is the New Year show. FFR Werewolves, a mermaid show. Yeah, you know what? We're probably gonna have to name it that. Look at all these great pictures of like sassy fish-headed ladies. Now, you know, Eileen, I will tell you, there is a very famous, Eileen dropped a GIF in the chat, and it's this very famous meme GIF of a fish, and the fish is like, oh, like, it's awful. And I'm not going to lie to you, I always just thought that was an edited GIF. It's not. It's a real thing from a real documentary. It's not sped up. It's not exaggerated. I literally saw it while watching nature documentaries while fucking hiking across Alaska. It's from a documentary about a specific place in Russia. Now you know. Somewhere right now, some fish is getting railed, and that's the face it makes. The more you know. Whoosh. When I upload this to YouTube, I'm going to edit the more you know star. Whoosh, there. No, I don't actually have an opinion on centaurs. We'll just have to do a fantasy show and we'll discuss it. I will say, yes, Eileen, I believe in fish supremacy. The show's a disaster. Oh my God, what is happening? Terrible. Oh, you hate knee guards. Yikes. Just yikes. What a disaster tonight is, and I love it. Okay, so we talked about mermaids, we talked about fish, we talked about all sorts of things, and we are going to continue. I just wanted to play that track for you. And so, in the interest of keeping the show moving, because we're exactly halfway through, I'm now going to play you the first of 2 Powerwolf tracks. However, it's not actually Powerwolf. I am going to play you a song that is a combination of all the things that I love best. And if you've been coming to the show for 5 years, you will know that I have a very soft spot for Doro. Now, 𝖍𝖊𝖆𝖛 is the lovely, talented, incredible singer from a little band called Warlock. And of course, she's had her solo career as well. And she is now, just a glowing embodiment of the metal as she gets older, but she still does great, cool collabs with other people in the metal space. I love Powerwolf, probably the most ridiculous werewolf themed band of all time. They deserve to be on tonight's playlist too, and they are on this playlist themselves. But just recently, a new album came out called 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖆 in 2021. And on the deluxe version of 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖆 are a bunch of classic Powerwolf tracks with famous metal singers that have joined them. And so there is Hansi Kirsch, there is Matt 𝖕𝖆. We talk about him a lot from Trivium. We talked about him last week. Bunch of Christopher Bowes, who we talk about because he's got a bunch of very, very fucking cool projects. And Christopher Bowes singing Resurrection by Erection, by the way, is fantastic. So Christopher... Oh, I could go off on just all of this if I really had to. Cripes. We're going to have to talk about this at some point, but it doesn't matter. I don't want to get too far off track, and we're already very far off track. The long and the short of it is I'm going to play you a werewolf-esque power ballad featuring Powerwolf singing with 𝖍𝖊𝖆𝖆𝖆. And it is a power ballad about rejoining your pack after dying in a glorious fight with the rest of the wolves around you. And it is sung by Doro, who has forever been my lady love of metal. I'm never sure if I want to be Doro or if I want to be with Doro. Maybe both simultaneously. I maintain that. But if you've ever wanted to hear, girls do love ponies. I mean, that's a little reductive, but sure. So in this case, this is a beautiful power ballad, and 𝖍𝖊𝖆𝖆𝖆 is going to sing you off to the land beyond the mist where you will go to rejoin your pack when you leave this earth. Oh God, I love it.
We fought for daylight, any battle, any war. The call for blood worth dying for. We prayed for twilight, side by side we stood as pack. But still tonight you won't come back. The night is over, but in the morning don't lie dead. Remember all the blood we had, and we'll meet where the wild wolves have gone. All we bleed in the 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖏 and we'll meet where the wild wolves have gone. All we need is the sacrament. We beg for mercy any hour, any day. To bring back nightfall, we would pray. You left us bleeding in the silver bullet rain. Still in this world you can't remain. The day is dawning when dusk is calling out for blame, and on this empty grave your name. And we'll meet where the wild wolves have gone. All we bleed in the 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖏 and we'll meet where the wild wolves have gone. All we need is a and we'll meet where the wild wolves have gone. All we bleed in the 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖏 and we'll meet where the wild wolves have gone. All we need is a sacrament.
That is a metal ballad. Yeah, Mariano with his lighter. Whoa. I love Doro so much. I love Warlock. And I was struggling here because I was trying to find a GIF in the built-in Discord link. I was trying to find a Doro GIF. If you type Doro, you get exactly one Doro Pesh GIF, which is ridiculous. If you type Doro band, you don't get any. If you type Doro Warlock, you don't get any. If you type Warlock band, you do not get the power metal Warlock band from the 80s. You get some K-pop band. I refuse to let Doro be forgotten. And as such, she is immortalized in tonight's playlist. If you're gonna play a song about werewolves, it better be sung by fucking Doro Pesh. That is a power ballad and a half. And I love Powerwolf, but that song is so good. So good. Oh, We fought the daylight, any battle, any war, the call for blood worth dying for. We prayed for twilight side by side, we stood as a pack. But still tonight, you won't come back. The night is over, but in the morning, don't lie dead. Remember all the blood we had, and we'll meet where the wild wolves have gone. So, There you go. Now, I will say this album, this Call of the Wild album, has some great collabs on it. Highly, highly recommended. Anybody should have any excuse to put Doro, Hansi, Matt Heafy, Matt Beefy in their ears. And we'll just kind of, I don't know if she's shadow banned or what. I think, honestly, she's a bit more obscure now. And that's a goddamn tragedy, to be honest. So, I will play another power metal track by Powerwolf before the night is up if I get a chance. But Christopher Bowes, Sebson isn't here, but many of you guys, I will just say, Resurrection by Erection is a song you all love because you all love boner jokes. Powerwolf, classic Powerwolf track. But of course, Christopher Bowes is the guitarist for Alestorm. He's also in Glory Hammer. And one time during the Bug playlist, we actually did talk a little bit about how he did an entire bizarre experimental metal album about a plate of baked beans. And I played you a song called Killed to Death by Bugs. So Christopher Bowes joining Powerwolf to sing about erections is like, can't get much better. So, just keep that in the back of your mind. If you're, marking down useful facts from tonight, elephant titties, Russian fish boner blowjob documentary gif, wolves, more wolves, werewolves are cool, extra wolves, top fish mermaid. There you go. Summed up. Let's continue. So I want to play you guys some more music. I want to pump the speed and the pace of the show back up a little bit. So before we jump into some more tracks, especially some classic Aussie, obviously you know what track it's going to be, some classic Aussie about werewolves, I do want to play you a new song. I did tell you I was going to sneak in a couple brand new releases just because, they're not related to the playlist, but yes, you need to hear them. And so that's what we're going to do. Now, 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖘𝖔𝖉𝖊 is a project that I've talked about a lot on the show. I'm a huge, huge fan. And so we've often talked about it in some of the episodes where we've talked a little bit about sort of like the influences of either Satanism or dark imagery. But if you never heard them before, it is a mixed race musician. I think he's out of Sweden. And the idea for him was, what if the slaves in North America, rather than sort of being exposed to and subjected to Christian hymnals as part of their everyday experience, once they got brought to North America, Christianity was a religion that surrounded them, and many adopted it, embraced it, created beautiful work songs, hymns, lots of religious music. What if when they came here, 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖛𝖞, yeah, exactly. What if when they came here, instead they were corrupted by dark influences and the idea of like, let's try and create a set of hymnals and a storyline that would be sort of like an alternate history. And it's fantastic. The music is raw and brutal, but it has this sort of chain gang chanted hymn aesthetic. It's really cool. And just recently, they put out, put out a set of 2 short songs, I guess, on a single album. And I want to play one of them for you called Firewake. It's awesome. It's pretty brand new. It came out on December 7th. So if you were, that Hard Carry for the Sky was from December 9th. These are songs that aren't even a couple weeks old. And I'm going to put them in your ears and we're going to play them real loud. So if you're one of the people that comes to the show and is never 1,000% sure, or if sometimes this is a little heavy for you, well, this is one of those tracks. But I want you to try it out and I want you to let me know what you think, because I think this is sick. It's brand new 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖛𝖞 on Fullforce Radio. No werewolves, no mermaids, no fish, no vaginas. Just good heavy metal.
Firewake for the mothers and the fathers. No pain anymore, no pain anymore. Stay awake for the last and the others. No pain anymore, no pain anymore. Eyes open for the miracles and wonders. It won't rain anymore, no pain anymore. Every time you were so sure that nothing went right,
There you go. A little bit of extreme hymnals. My friends. All right. So we are celebrating the new year. I can see that the bot is not behaving in the Discord, and that's okay because a lot of people in the Discord are just hanging out there, so they show up on the overlay. And that being said, that's broken. I have to recode it. It's messed up because, I don't know, Discord changed something. So instead, please jump to one of the many places to watch or listen to the show. You can go to mspwaves.com and listen in high fidelity. But if you do want to watch along with the show, you have Vim TV, Theta TV, Trovo TV. Of course, you have Twitch. And later on, if you want to rewatch, re-listen, then you can always go and check out the replays on YouTube. If you go to any of those places, please do me a favor and rock up and stay a while. You know, if you're not clicking the button to do the thing, I am formally asking you to click the button to do the thing. Also, big shout out, a lot of you guys are subscribing now, which is super cool. I know you are using Amazon Prime to do so. If you haven't and you want to subscribe on Twitch for free and you have Amazon Prime, did you know you get a free Twitch subscription? You do. You can use it on me. That way you don't have to spend any money and you can still help. And if you don't want to do that and you want to use it on somebody else, do that. I truly don't care. I'm just happy to have you. So, where shall we go next? We have got about an hour and 20 minutes left in the show. There's lots of people hanging around. I want you guys to have a good metal and an excellent time. And of course, we're talking a little bit about the fact that the new year is coming. It is, whether we like it or not. 2023 is upon us. Last week, we recited the night before Christmas. I reinterpreted a classic holiday poem. And this week, I'm reinterpreting the idea of the new year. New year, new moon, because there was a new moon last week, and there will be a new moon the first week of January, or something like that. New moon, new year, new me. Forget new me. It's all about werewolves now. Now, I will say, if you jumped into the middle of the show and you've been trying to follow what's going on, chat has once again derailed things. I derailed things to begin with. But the reality is, we've been talking about werewolves. We've been talking about elephants. We've been talking about mermaids. And yeah, exactly. New you, whatever new you looks like. New you could be the same as old you, just in a new year. You don't have to change. Don't change for me. Don't change for anybody. Change for you, and only if you want to. But you know, actively work towards being a better person. It's a good thing. It's a good goal. Keeps you humble, keeps you moving, keeps you from stagnating. Do it for you. Now, oh my goodness, you guys, there's a bug again. If you were here for St. Patrick's Day, there was a mystery bug, and I was really drunk trying to catch a mystery bug. Well, he's right on the camera right now. Let me grab him. There he is again. I don't think it's the same bug. I mean, clearly it's not the same bug. But so I read earlier, after we talked about this, after you internet detectives discovered this is a stink bug, apparently in the winter or whenever, are you back to normal stream schedule? No, you. Hi, Pig. I'm so stoked to see you. Yes, I'm back to mostly regular stream schedule. Here's the bug from St. Patrick's Day. He matches my shirt. I'm color coordinated. Apparently, these things fucking get into your house and they hide from cold weather. And then you can never get rid of them and they're gross. So here's another gross bug, and I don't really know what to do with him because the dog isn't here. I can't feed him to my dog. So I'm just going to put him over there for now. All right. So werewolf night, yes, the pet bug, disgusting. He's not my pet. He's gross. And apparently he's stinky. I'm not going to fuck with him because I don't want it to be stinky. But there are more bugs apparently in my house. I guess I'm gross also. So we're interpreting the new year, and I'm playing you guys lots of werewolf metal and some brand new tracks. So I thought this would be a good place to include the classic Ozzy Osbourne track. You cannot have werewolf metal without Bark at the Moon. It's not even my favorite Ozzy track. It really isn't. But at the same time, formative album, formative song, great for singing along. And if we're gonna do the werewolf thing, we gotta do the werewolf thing. Be a werewolf. Andrew Tate got arrested. Is that bullish or bearish for crypto? I don't think it really has any, I don't think it has any bearing on crypto. Andrew Tate is just so gross. And I know a lot of people think, you know, he's got some truth in what he's saying, or like some people are team Greta and some people are team Andrew. If you're team either of them, you probably just need to reevaluate. They are both essentially paid actors that thrive on outrage and live specifically to get you riled up about things that don't matter. Tate is a disgusting caricature of what it's supposed to be a man. He sucks at it, I guess. Greta is a climate activist that frankly doesn't really have anything to do with climate activism. And, both of them are gross. I wouldn't pay attention to them. A++, though, if he has indeed been trafficking women from places across Romania and running a fucking coerced webcam site, fuck that guy. So, Ron's fixing the website. I'm not here to talk about clown world political events. I am going to eat some more pizza without doxing myself. That's a thing that I've probably done a number of times. Here's a pizza that has, down the street. You guys could probably find me based on pizza. Live and learn. Scary internet lessons. But tonight, we are playing songs about werewolves and talking a little bit about transformations. Ron won't even come in to see if it's working. He'll just kick the bot and then not even bother to listen. Did you stop feeding your dogs pizza? No. Lulu was in here earlier, but she heard a delivery person at the door. And so right before the show started, she was crying and howling and making a bunch of noises. So I let her out because it's cruel. I don't want to keep her in here when she doesn't want to be in here. Now, I promise you guys more metal. I promise you guys some Aussie. We're gonna play some Aussie. Ron's here just for a second to test to see if the bot's working. Hi, Ron. Hi, kitty girl. And we'll hope the dogs don't chase away Kitty. I'm going to play you guys some Bark at the Moon. New Year, New Me. A classic. A classic. We need more Aussie in our lives. She just turned up and howl along. One of those ones that ends really quick and I always lose it. So, since you guys know what's coming next, let's just quickly flip back here. Hey, welcome. We're coming up on the last hour of the show today. My name is Crimson Clad, and this is Fullforce Radio. We are working on a New Year kind of playlist, but rather than being the regular party playlist, which I've done, and the sort of coming of a new you and a personal development playlist, which I've also done, an upbeat or whatever, but the reality is, tonight I'm interpreting it slightly differently, and I am creating a playlist all about a new year, a new moon, a new me, and by that, I mean werewolves. The entire playlist is about werewolves. Now, we did get lost in the weeds, as the show is like to do, since we were talking about transformative, animal representations of self, and transformations, often things like being possessed, becoming a monster, yada yada. That's a pretty metal topic. And so, of course, tonight we did kind of get into the weeds. We were talking a little bit about mermaids, elephant titties, because we were talking about, are these like anthropomorphic werewolves? Are they really are they people-centric, or are they mostly wolves? And you know what? Takes all kinds. We've been having a lot of fun with it, as per usual. The show is rarely serious, but I hope on a repeated listen coming back that the music is what drags you in, not necessarily the inappropriate chit-chat. But you knew you were coming. It says it right up there. Gosh, it's hard to point on the screen. It says it right up there. Heavy metal, hard rock, and sass. You came for the sass. It happens. You don't believe elephants had titties in my multiverse. So, I mean, I wouldn't Google elephant titties, but I'm pretty sure if we Google elephant breasts, I'm just saying, I'm sorry, when an elephant is breastfeeding, if you want to look it up, you can. It's rough. And the first thing that came up in terms of, oh God, here you go. The first article that comes up for me anyways is Double D Dumbo, hilarious snaps of an elephant with boobs. The second article is elephants have fabulous tits. So, you know what? Do with that what you will. Mutants are metal, and they look a lot like human memories. Now you know. But we are, on the topic, we're going to get back to werewolves, and we're going to listen to some more werewolfian music. So, yes, Metal Christmas and a very heavy New Year to you too. But yeah, Jack's like, yeah, but then there's the rest of the elephant to deal with. Listen, we're not doing anything. I'm just giving you the knowledge. It's one of those weird things. They're one of the only mammals that kind of just like, it's weird. And you know what? You don't need to go any further than that. It's terrifying. It's awful. It's crazy. But I didn't know it. I'm not going to lie to you. It's one of those things where I was surprised. I didn't know it. And now I know it. And I need to share it with all of you. Because if I need to be sort of weirdly uncomfortable with how strange nature is, damn nature, then you do too. Yeah, please don't try to cop a field. Just don't do it. Yes, we touched on this at the beginning of the show. Animals get enough abuse from us. This should not be the reason that more happens or that it continues. All right, so because I don't want to immediately be banned from every platform that I'm on, let's just continue, okay? On the werewolves, not the elephants. All right, so I am going to play you a track that is actually pretty new and still wolf related. So I have obviously a great love for women who can cut it in the metal world. And there are many talented musicians. We don't care if you're a singer, a songwriter, a guitarist, whatever. And your gender doesn't really matter, but, since we're talking about boobs, they are less common in the metal scene. They're becoming more common, but for a long time, there weren't a ton of ladies in the metal world. And Doro, of course, was my guiding light. But there are some incredibly talented musicians that I play for you on this show all the time. One of them being Nita Strauss, and she is a fucking fantastic guitarist. Like, she is wild. You heard the lady only talk about animals with tits. Don't blame this on me, Jack. Don't blame this on me, Viking. Uncool. Listen, you guys, I've played Nita before. She does a lot of session guitar. She does her own music. She started playing for some fucking amazing, Shinsuke Nakamura, a wrestler. She started playing the live guitar lick for a wrestler. She toured with Alice Cooper. She is awesome. She's super talented, sick shredding. And so she actually, she tours with some other guitar virtuosos and stuff like that. But she actually just paired up earlier this year in end of October. So a couple months ago, she paired up with another woman who is also doing great things in the metal scene. And that is Alyssa 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖘, who we've also played. We actually played her last week as well. She's, with Arch Enemy now, but she's obviously kind of come through a bunch of different bands. But right now she's with Arch Enemy. She's a very notable figure. She's usually rocking, bright blue hair, pretty tiny little thing. And then the guttural vocal growls that come out of her will literally rip your face off. Fantastic. So these two ladies got together and they wrote a song about the wolf inside of you and how sometimes embracing your inner wolf spirit is a good thing. And sometimes that part of you, that nasty animalistic part of you, you feed it. You feed it with your emotions. You feed it with your behavior. And the only reason that you become that person is because you can't help but feed that base part of you. It's a great track. It's a perfect fit for tonight's show. My name is Crimson Cloud. We get about an hour or so left. I got lots of great music. We're talking about werewolves, and definitely not fish, and definitely not elephant titties. Definitely not.
The dark, the night, only linger when you won't open.
There you go. Sick new track, The Wolf You Feed. So, 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖏 writes a lot of and sings a lot of songs about being like super positive, being super tough, fighting tough battles, and coming out on top. But so just quickly in the chat, people are talking about how the Discord bot is not doing a great job. So Viking Adventure, inside you, there are two wolves. One is wrong. The other one is wrong. You're wrong. Inside you, there are two wolves, and on your shirt, there are three wolves and the moon. So I want to quickly throw it out there just because we are getting to that time of night where, people are hopping in and out and, good things are happening, bad things are happening. So I kind of want to just kind of get some housekeeping stuff out of the way. And number one is, yes. So in the time since I saw many of you last, in the last month or so, earlier this month? Yeah, December. Earlier in December, I actually upgraded to fiber. And so I now have better than gigabit internet. And what that means is my streams are, from my end, they've never been better. The internet is fast. Upload speed is ridiculous. Everything is blazing. However, that doesn't mean that you're still going to get a great experience. So there are a couple things that we have to kind of think about. And one is that obviously if you're in the PalNet Discord or you're in the Discord associated with the radio station, that Discord does compress music. We do have some boosts on the server. It doesn't mean the music sound is good. It sucks. But there are some reasons people like hanging out there. It's easy. It's accessible, for mobile or for whatever. For a lot of people, they can join in the chat easily that way. But just sort of a caveat is, yeah, the music can often sound really bad there. The other thing is the bot sometimes cracks out. Why? Don't know. There's nothing I can do about it. So you have a couple of options. If you go to mspwaves.com, we do have a lo-fi and a hi-fi stream, depending on how much data you want to use. But there are, of course, all the other video streams as well. And like I said, Twitch, 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖆, trve, and then you can watch again on YouTube. But if you're looking for live, those are the four that are the most important. Now, what I will say, that's a terrifying gecko. One of the things that you guys have been really coming for me over and that I've taken to heart and that I'm trying to dedicate more time to is my own Discord. And I'm not trying to bump you guys out of here, and I don't want to. But in between shows and for replays and things like that, everybody's like, how come you don't have a Discord? How come you don't have roles? How come I'm not getting pinged there? How come there isn't a place to come hang out and chat? You suck at being a streamer. You suck at being a live host. I want a place that I can leave feedback, blah, 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 blah. So yes, that is something. I do have a Discord. It's not really set up for people to join. It is something that I'm working on. There are some bots like StreamCord that I will bring in. So if you do want to kind of have interaction with websites like Twitch and whatnot, that will happen. So that's number one. It's just time. And I suck. So there's that. And number two is, of course, expanding social media presence, which I don't really love the idea of, but the more of you that I can bring back to Web3 and then I can then teach about self-sovereignty and things like that, great. So I am going to do my best to make you happy because that's very important to me. Will it happen right away? Probably not. Do I have some solutions for you with the sound now? Questionable. So that is one last housekeeping thing that I'm throwing out there now. Please send me a message if you want. Tell me, working on getting some things. A couple that have been repeatedly yelled at is get some emotes on Vim and Twitch. Do some things for cheers and donations. Hey, 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖆𝖆. You probably don't say your name that way, but it's part of tradition. You say hi in my chat. I'm going to butcher your name for the first time. But with all that being said, if there's stuff that in a Discord outside of the shows that you would want, maybe it's a place where you can ask questions about Hive and I can answer them on a cyberbuzz. Maybe it's a place where you want me to drop all of my songs before I play them on the radio so you can front run them. Maybe it's a place where you want to, I don't know. Tell me what you need and I will work. I'll put it on my list and I will work towards it. It's important to me to do that. So, werewolves? Werewolves. 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖆. No? Young Frankenstein? Nah. So that's basically where I'm at right now, and we'll kind of, well, we'll roll with it as we go. But yes, over here on the overlay, I didn't shut it down just because obviously this fucking visualizer, if I could point at it, but I can't. I guess it's technically in the camera's eyes, it's there. But yes, the visualizer's awesome. It's got, of course, it helps that they're both beautiful ladies. They'd be ridiculously talented if they weren't, but you know, it's not a bad thing when you're nice to look at too. And I say that about the boys and the girls. God damn it, the bug is above me again. I'm never going to get used to the bug thing. Cripes. So let's do a little bit more music. Now, this is a new track. I want to play you one more new track before we jump into a couple more wolf-related tracks before the end of the night. Werewolves is what it's all about, but I do want to play a couple of others. And so one of the ones that I want to play for you is, we were talking a little bit last week about how much I love Don't Let It Bug Me. Wah, wah. What if he jumps on me or like stinks at me from above or something? I don't know. I'm not. I mean, I'm not really squicked by bugs in general, but the idea of one dropping on my head while I'm not ready for it, or like leaping out of the air to goop me with its stink butt, not my favorite. I'm not gonna lie. That would be off-putting, and it would be awful, and I don't want it to happen live on air. So I want to play something for you. I've been talking a lot about how one of my album of the years this year and my top artist this year was a band called 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖏. And I really love a lot of what they're doing, which is pulling in extreme metal, death metal, these blast beats, heavy growls, dark, mean, guttural, visceral tracks, but combining them with beautiful guitar parts, bits of clean singing, incredible harmonies. There's a lot about what 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖏 did on all their albums, but 𝐷𝐴𝐴𝐴 in this last year in particular that I love a lot. And I talked a little bit, that is terrible, because just reading that, I heard it. Viking Adventure, it's so high, high above she, it's a bug, see. I read it. I didn't even need to, I knew what it was. That's terrible. I hate it. Thanks, I hate it. Oh, it's atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. But yeah, brutal band. But one of the things that I talked about a lot with that band and with 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖏 is I talked about how they incorporate a lot of sort of like classical guitar and world music, almost Spanish acoustic world music fusion kind of guitar parts. And I wanted to kind of bring some more of that into tonight's playlist. So I'm going to play a new release. It's a collaboration between a band and a band called 𝖭𝖑𝖏 and a musician who goes by 𝖭𝑚𝑡ℎ. And he is an Australian. He's sort of a guitar virtuoso, and he's really quite famous on YouTube. That's his jam. He's a session musician. He joins other bands. He plays guitar with them. He's a brutal, awesome, talented guitar soloist, and he went on to YouTube, and now he does a lot of like guitar solos on YouTube and other albums. So they just put out a new track together. It's a great collaboration, and I wanted to kind of have something a little bit different on tonight's playlist. Since we've got some really heavy stuff, we've got a little bit of everything, and we're going to do a lot more ballads. I thought for one spot tonight, I am going to put in some incredible sort of world music, progressive guitar virtuoso kind of shredding. And this is the spot. The song is called Flow. I am called Crimson Clad. This is called Full Force Radio. New year, new moon, new me. Just go with the flow, baby. there you go. Instrumental track. And some like a Spanish guitar breakdown in the middle. And something that I have obviously kind of been into. I really love... the guitarist sounds like a good one I knew before. There are a lot of guitarists that sort of specialize in this world fusion Spanish guitar acoustic kind of sound. So absolutely. But this is also like a little bit djenty, progressive as well. Musicians like 𝖊𝖆𝖆 and other sort of almost like a new metal take on elevator music. It's not a bad thing. It's not meant as a slam. Very cool. And very enjoyable. So I love being able to share that kind of thing with you guys. And I wanted to find a way to, I didn't see the image to go with that, the Ned photo. Yes, never forget that Ned did the guitar bullshit. Gosh, he was something else, wasn't he? What a wonderful person he is. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Well worth it. I love being able to kind of remind you that as much as I love really heavy metal, and I do, I like my metal crunchy and heavy and very fucking mean. Sometimes it's nice to play something a little more chill. So, with the time that I have left in the show, I'm going to continue on with the werewolf kind of thing that we have happening. And for those of you who are still sticking it out, there's still a couple people down in the Discord, but across all of the different places to watch, there's quite a few of you. I'm glad to have you here and I'm glad to entertain you. But for tonight, what shall we go with next? I think I'm going to play you a track by a band called 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖎𝖘. And I have played this band for you guys before. They are quite cool. They're very sort of like goth horror metal. I don't know. That's what they call themselves, horror. And you guys always laugh when I say horror because if I don't enunciate each syllable with different emphasis, you guys think I'm saying horror metal. And I want to at least be able to play you guys something. So I'm going to play something off some pretty early albums here. And we'll kind of check it out. So the Death Ship has a new caption is one, but I'm going to play you something off an album called, unsurprisingly, The Wolves Go Hunting? What is it? Let me find it. The Wolves Go Hunt Their Prey. Kind of a fit for tonight. And I'm going to play you a track called She-Wolf. And it's a little creepy, a little spooky. It's not quite as heavy, but it moves us back in the more sort of traditional metal, angry, evil kind of sound, a little bit more aggressive. And then we'll see how much time we've got left in the show. It's looking about half an hour. We will play some classic Rainbow before the night is out. A sick Rainbow track with one of the best bass lines, and I can't wait to play it for you guys. And if I get a chance, I will also play one more new track with some metalcore in there. My name is Crimson Clad, and it's been quiet tonight. You know, if I'm not talking about mermaid vaginas or elephant titties, sometimes you say things out loud and you realize how far you've fallen. But if I'm not talking about those things, you guys are using me as background entertainment and background company tonight, and I am happy to oblige. But if you want to share with me what's going on for you in the new year, we are here. We're just living our best life under a new moon, getting ready to go into a new year. And, even though I'm rooting for new you, I am genuinely hoping that you are not torn to shreds by a werewolf. I'm just saying. I'm rooting for you to not get eaten in the bad ways. Our 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖆 sideways. Okay, so I didn't want to bring this up, but I will. And then we won't talk about it again, okay? But there is a movie, and I talk about it fairly often on this show, but it's been a while. It's called The Lure, like a fishing lure. Let me write it in chat. The Lure. And it is a Polish movie about mermaids, sirens, really. And they come out of the water, and instead of being regular fish on the bottom, they are actually eels. They're eel bottoms. And they can change back and forth into women when they want to. And because they sing so beautifully, they come ashore And they actually end up being a part of a cabaret, a performing cabaret. Now, with all that being said, after the mermaids join the cabaret, you find out that they actually eat human flesh. But the reason that I bring this up is it's a weird movie. If you're willing to read subtitles, it's very pretty. It's kind of a musical, but if the musical was about eels that eat people, there is a section of the movie where they do address sexy mermaid eel siren lady sex with a human, because the first human that sees them immediately, rather than treating them with any form of respect, immediately is like, can I have sex with this? And then attempts to do so. And the first thing he does is he fingers her little eel hole. If this movie is to be believed, no, they're not. They just have slimy holes in the middle of their eely bodies. I don't know what a real eel has. I would hope that none of you attempt to stick your fingers into any portion of an eel, specifically not the reproductive organs, but definitely not any of the places with teeth. Maybe this is an educational movie, maybe not. It is a good one. I have nothing else to say. Back to werewolves. She-wolves even. Speaking of predatory female, half human, half animal murderesses.
out of free. She's the wolf of sheep. She's the wolf of sheep. She's the wolf of sheep. She's the wolf of sheep.
Yes, there you go. She's the wolf is she. So yeah, Vision Bleak, some classic sort of horror goth metal, some great stuff. I love it. I love being able to kind of delve way back into the back catalogs and albums that you guys haven't heard for a long time and make these bizarre connections. 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖘 is playing with some of the AI augmentative generative images, and man, this is really cool, the one he made of me. I'm terrifying and I love it. But one of the things that I find so interesting is the interpretation that AI has of sort of the prompts that you give it, number one, but actually, more importantly, some of the things in the image itself, how it reinterprets them, trying to categorize what they are. So I'm going to put this up because it's just really, really cool. Check this out. 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖘 just made this. Also, 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖘 is a talented artist. If you have run into him, whether on the stream to do with Discord or in Twitch or any of the places that he hangs out, you'll find he does live streams with Mocha. He sells his art all around different blockchains, and overall is just a cool kind of cypherpunk that I'm very happy to have met through the blockchain, much like the rest of you. But so here's this thing over here. One of the things that's really cool is check out how it's interpreting my shirt. I love this because it's trying to put together different words, different letters. And the same thing, if you look at my sign behind me that says Crimson, in each of these images, it's actually got a different font and a different take on my sign. The records are changing symbology. And actually, this cool thing, if you look in the real image, if you're looking on the screen right now, you'll see I've actually got a planter over here that's on a stand. And so if you were to look at this and see it, you know it's a planter. It's got some plants in it. It's holding some LED lights, whatever. There's some plants. Here, I got a snake plant it's desperately needing some sunlight. It's getting tall and falling over. But you could see that the AI is taking the prompts, and this has become some sort of sorceress altar or some kind of palantir, or I don't know, a scepter with an orb on it. And my plants have turned into small torches. And even the cap of my microphone here is being interpreted as the top of a skull. I love it. It's fantastic. It's bizarre. It's so cool. And I mean, there's a lot of debate raging about AI, generative or GAN art, which is something that we talk about a lot on Cyberbuzz. And we'll probably talk about some more. But it stands to be mentioned that how you feed prompts and the images that you give it and the things that you ask it to do are very fascinating. And it's certainly something that many artists are shunning, many are embracing, and somewhere in the middle lies possibility. But there you go. It's a very, very cool GIF. I have to say, I find it so fascinating to see the interpretation of my room and of my visage and my shirt and everything around me. Very, very cool. All right, so yeah, absolutely. AI is going to murder us all, but with flair. Isn't a goth hoarder just a dragon? I mean, I don't know that dragons are like specifically gothic, but they absolutely are hoarders for sure. Okay, so keeping an eye on the time and keeping an eye on the chat here, let us continue. Your cousins used to pronounce wolf as woof. I mean, but at least they're in the same ballpark, right? Look at the wolf. I did actually think about talking about 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖛𝞞 tonight, but I couldn't remember what day it's on. Let's just look that up quickly. 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖛𝞞. What day is it? 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖛𝞞, we talked about this before on the show. Some little kid made up a holiday for dogs and wolves, and the entire internet thought that was the coolest. So everybody celebrates it now. It's let's see, when is it? When is 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖛𝞞? Well, cripes, doesn't have a date. I just tell me when it is this year. About 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖛𝞞. 7-year-old son made a holiday about the spirit of the wolf. The 23rd of November. 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖛𝞞 has passed, but maybe next year we will do another wolf show on a 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖛𝞞 night. Okay, so I'm going to play you something by a group called Acacia Ridge. And this is a band that basically... excuse me, I haven't done... I haven't had any drinks tonight. I haven't done any shots. So by the time we hit 3 hours, my voice is usually pretty bad. And I hate coughing into the microphone or sounding gross for you guys. One of the things that's arriving soon is I'm going to have an audio mixer that will have a censor button and a mute button. So I'll be able to kind of do that a little bit more easily. Should be here soon. But so these guys do some cool sort of like underground metal that has aspects of sort of like new metal almost, that sound from the late 2000s, some new metal, some industrial, some metalcore, and they're kind of riding this wave. They've got a new track out right now, and they're kind of riding this wave of the new metalcore, and it's something that sounds a little bit familiar. You can kind of pick out little aspects of hip-hop, industrial, extreme metal, and it's really cool. There's some great stuff going on in metalcore right now, and it's sort of one of the leading waves in the metal that's being released. But this is a brand new track, and I want to play it for you guys. But I also, not just because it's new, literally brand new. It came out on December 22nd. It's one of last week's new releases, right before Christmas. But also because the song is called Chimera, and when we're talking about blended genetics and a transformation and wolves and werewolves and all the things that's going on tonight, it still kind of fits in. So brand new track by Acacia Ridge. The cover of this is awesome. The song is great. And we're going to come up towards the end of the show, but we're not there yet. My name is Crimson Clad, and tonight, heavy music night, low chat night. It could be because it got a little weird really early and never came back from the brink. But you know what? It's entertainment. It's Fullforce Radio, and it's here on MSP Waves.
Stop your thinking, can't stop your shit from sinking, can't stop your eyes from bleeding, can't stop your mind from thinking.
right, hang on. Sorry. Sometimes I get too into the tracks and I'm just sitting here just and then I don't change the track in time. But that's what being a good DJ is all about. And I'm not the best DJ, but I try. And that's got to count for something. My hair is wild tonight. The sound is wild. New moon, new me. Soracrim. Yeah, I mean, basically, I don't have a Palantir, but I mean, I probably would harass you through it if I did. I would either watch you do things and then make fun of you with it, or, I'm sure I would do nothing but wholesome things with the power of the Palantir and the one eye or whatever. But, don't worry about it. So actually, speaking of, Tolkien and epic fantasy stories, the shirt that I'm wearing, the Kaladin Brood shirt, my fabulous Christmas present, it's a little big, but I fucking love it. This is the interwebs you're right, it is. Like, my Palantir is actually just the entire interweb. I'm, collectively a part of it. But if you were here a couple shows ago, we did a fabulous fucking show about storytelling, black metal, the depths of winter, and like really good storytelling in sort of a black epic fantasy kind of way. And so, as we're talking about sort of some of these tropes from Tolkien and fantasy, this band doesn't exist anymore. They put out one album, and this album is specifically written about the 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖆 which is this sweeping epic fantasy series. So if you like the books, you will like this band. If you like books like Tolkien's writing, you will like the 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖆. And that's it. That's all I got to say. I'm just saying, I love this so much. I mean, I'm in a new space where I have so many metal shirts now that I've moved on to long sleeves, and I specifically like 4-sided long sleeves. Yeah, metal fashion is art. I mean, I love this shirt so much. This beautiful misty mountain, your eagle flying over the lake, the echoes of battle ring cold through the ages is what it says. I'm reading it upside down and backwards. But yeah, and then same on the back, a host of soldiers. You know what? Doesn't matter. But the long and the short of it is, since we're talking about fantasy stories, I gotta shout this out. But this band existed only for a very short period of time. They never made another album again. The shirt had to be printed in Germany and sent to Canada because you can't get it any other way, because they don't make them, because the band doesn't exist anymore. Brings me great joy. It's a little bit obnoxious in a sort of posery metal way, but don't worry about that. All right, so this is the place, since we are coming up on the end of the show, this is the place where I play Powerwolf. Now, there were a ton of different songs. Hey, Hooday! Hi! Merry everything. It's good to see you. This is coming up towards the end of the show, and I did promise you guys some Powerwolf, and I mean, almost every Powerwolf song is either about sort of, if you could retell all of the horrible stuff that happened in like the Crusades in the Middle Ages with Christianity, if you could retell that, but also everybody involved is like a werewolf. That's pretty much the gist of their whole shtick, is that it's like organized religion and Christianity, but werewolves. And part of the reason that I was thinking about tonight's theme for this show was because I have a playlist for my car, and it's all my most favorite songs to sing along to at the top of my lungs. And one of my favorite songs to sing along with is a Powerwolf song called Sanctified by Dynamite. And it's literally about a whole, like, troop of Christian soldiers who literally run into battle with sticks of dynamite, which again, it wasn't invented till like the 1800s, I'm pretty sure, but don't worry about that. Imagine Christian medieval knights racing into battle, blowing up demons with sticks of dynamite. It's so fun. You cannot help but love it. And so I'm going to play you a track. They have, like I said, every song is about werewolves. They have the Beast of Gavon, which I played for you a while back. Werewolves of Armenia. They have a million songs about wolves. And so it was very difficult to try and pick one. I wish. I would absolutely roam the wasteland in the Mad Max fucking giant speaker flaming gong show stage mobile Absolutely. When I become a warlord in the apocalypse, that's what I'm going to be driving. 1000%. But I had to pick a Powerwolf track to fit tonight's playlist, and so I ended up picking one called Son of a Wolf, and it's off an album from 2011 called The Blood of the Saints, and it's the same album that has Sanctified with Dynamite and another song called Murder at Midnight, the enemy of the world. Again, this is a fabulous album. It has Phantom of the Funeral, Night of the Werewolves, Dead Boys Don't Cry, We Drink Your Blood and the Midnight Sky is Red, We Drink Your Blood and we call our sanguine saint. I mean, this album is ridiculous and so fun. So I highly recommend, if there's nothing else you take away from tonight, this album, suspend your disbelief. Imagine a bunch of like fucking Christian popes, but they're werewolves, and just have a little fun. I'm going to play you a track off the middle of the album called Son of a Wolf. We are almost to the end of the show, my darlings. It's all about werewolves tonight on Full Force Radio. there you go. It is hard not to love Powerwolf. Honestly, singing along is almost impossible. What a great fucking track. So tonight is all about werewolves. New moon, new me. And this is such a great, great album. Blood of the Saints. It is. You know, it's, Mariano's like, it looks religious. It's totally irony. Yeah, some of these tracks are quite, they're quite critical of Christianity, but some of them are not. Some of them actually still do kind of like, they're not quite a Christian band. Some of their tracks are very much skewering how Christianity has treated people through the ages. But some of these tracks are still also about the power and the glory and the might of faith and battle and all of the trappings of the Christian religion. So good and bad. And you know what? Just banging imagery. And so I'm actually trying myself right now to get tickets to see Powerwolf in February in Montreal. They sold out instantly. These are the first Powerwolf shows in North America in years or ever. In some cases, in some of these locations, and they sold out like that. So I'm trying to get myself to Montreal because I would love to go sing these songs with a bunch of other people and see this band play live. It would be amazing. They're ridiculous, and I'm really hoping. Yeah. It shows both sides of the story. The werewolves were pagans, Christians, yeah, a little bit of everything. Well, you know what? So lucky, but I have not been able to get one yet, and I still have to travel across the country for it. So wish me luck, and we'll see what happens. Now, we are almost to the end of the show, my darlings, and I do love this song. Like, if you, like, read the lyrics, you'll see it's a little bit of everything. Like Viking Adventurer says, it's a little bit of both sides. And a bunch of these are... really great tracks about how Christianity parallels the idea of a pack, a family, a faith, a religion. But you know what? We could dive into Powerwolf, and we probably will. Come 2023, I have a bunch of 6 Degrees of Mutilation episodes that I want to do for you guys, and I will just add this to the pile. If there's a band you want me to do a deep dive on, let me know. But we have to get towards the end of the show. I'm running out of time. So I did promise that I was going to close out tonight with some classic Rainbow, and I'm going to play something off the album Rising. This is, I mean, it's hard not to come back to Rainbow, to Dio. Yeah, Green Lung, very tempting, but no. Classic. I want to play you an album from 1976. Rising, ridiculously good album. But it doesn't have as many songs that made radio play like many of the other Rainbow albums that got widespread radio play. But they do have a track on this, and the bass line is so fucking funky. And I always like an excuse to go digging around the lesser known songs by bands that you probably hear every day, whether on traditional radio or whatever. And any excuse to play some Rainbow, obviously. So I'm going to play you this track. It's called Run with the Wolf. My friends, thanks for hanging out today. I will be back to say goodbye. We will sneak this in before the end of the show. But this has been Full Force Radio. New moon, new year, new me. But forget it. It's not about traditional New Year's. It's about becoming a werewolf, because we don't do things normally around here. And I'd like to think that's part of the appeal.
You can hear the old one say, was the sound last night the wind? Can you feel the change begin? By the fall of the snow, a single soul will go. With footsteps on the white, there's an unholy light. There's
All right. There you go. For Christ's sakes. There you go. That is the totality of the playlist tonight. I hope you guys had so much fun. I hope you had so much fun. And I hope you two are running with the wolves. Now, listen. If I missed you for Christmas, I hope you had a wonderful one. If you don't celebrate Christmas, who cares? It's a holiday. I hope you had a good week anyways. New Year's is coming up. Please stay safe. Have a lot of fun. Be a cool guy. Do it. Whatever you want to do. You know, mark the passage of time. You made it through another year. It's worth celebrating. It doesn't have to be traditional. But listen. Fullforce Radio loves you. 201 episodes, 5 years, 6 years, too many years, never enough years. I hope you guys will come back next week. I will do albums of the year for 2022. And I'm going to try and keep this going. I mean, you've heard many apologies and many promises, and I'm always trying. Would that I could make Fullforce Radio my entire life, but there are other things going on. However, as long as I keep improving, that is what matters. So, I will not be here on Saturday for Cyberbuzz. Cyberbuzz will be moving, and I'm going to kind of get your guys' opinions. Will it move to an earlier time on Saturday? Will it potentially maybe move to Sunday? I don't know yet, and I need your guys' feedback on that. However, Saturday this weekend is New Year's Eve, and I'm going to be hanging out and doing some stuff for that. So, I will see you guys for Cyberbuzz in January, and I will see you next week for Fullforce Radio on Thursday night. However, my time here is done. I will see you somewhere out there. I hope you have a fantastic night, my dears. And that's it. Bye. Top mermaid. Top fish? Top fish.